there is a very, very big difference, important difference, between a straight line and a circle.
How can we reinvent the systems of today so they are fit for tomorrow? That's the question we asked here at 2018 Summit, here at the Roundhouse in London. Over the course of today, we've had roughly 20 speakers speaking from the main stage just behind me, as well as many more here on the sofa as part of a view from the summit. This year, our live stream show was hosted by the team from the DIF, the Disruptive Innovation Festival, an online festival of ideas that starts on the 6th of November. The first session of the day delved into the theme of exponential possibilities. The digital revolution is opening up new ways of living, of interacting, and new business opportunities. But how can we direct the digital revolution towards truly world-changing outcomes, like the transition to a circular economy? Ellen MacArthur kicked off the day restating the mission of how we must reinvent our linear economy and move to a circular economy that's regenerative by design. We also heard from Jesse Baker, the CEO of Provenance, Erin Kim from New Harvest, and Martin Kavitz, the digital advisor to the government of Estonia. Then Azim Azar, the author of The Exponential View, gave us the bird's eye view of technological innovation and asked, what should we do with these new gifts?
Now, if the theme of Moore's law created all of this value that we have seen in the last sort of 30 or 40 years, that was just a single technology that was going exponential, that of the microprocessor. But what's exciting today is that we've got multiple different technologies in lots of different domains that have different engineering paths to becoming amazing, that are all progressing at exponential rates. As we build these new rules for the change that is inevitable, one thing that I would always leave you with is that technology is far too important to be left to technologists. And as Martin said, it's also not ultimately about the technology.
In the second session of the day, we looked at disruptive realities. We heard from a number of pioneers who are disrupting the current linear economy from within. In this session, we heard from Kieran Whitaker of Entocycle, Julie Wainwright, the CEO of The Real Real, Chris Grantham from IDEO, and also a big business panel from H&M, Solvay, Danone and Apple. We heard from them how a large established business can start the transition to a circular economy.
Where traditionally when you prototype it could be just two companies involved, now we're seeing that we need to incorporate a lot of different people and a lot of different companies to enable prototypes to come to life.
The shift to a circular economy won't just come from business. Policy also plays a vital role. In the third session of the day, we heard the Chinese perspective from Mr. Yang Chunping. We heard from the Deputy Mayor of Paris, Antoinette Gull, Thomas Diaz from Fab Cities, and also Mariana Mazzucato, the UCL professor who argues that it isn't just about the public sector getting out of the way and letting businesses get on with it. It's a co-creation process. Policymakers can set the direction for mission-oriented innovation.
So this is, I think, the really exciting bit, right? How can we use missions to, first of all, bring back the ability to dream? Just think of Kennedy's speech, going up to the moon and back again in a generation, being willing to have a vision within the policy-making process. But it's also, not so much a one-man, one-team moment of let's go to the moon and back again, but how do you really engage society, civil society, to even come up with those missions? So the ability of governments to listen to civil society, to listen to social movements, to come up with these bold missions, and then really engage lots of different sectors to drive investment-led growth with a direction to solve a problem and using concrete instruments to fuel that exploration, experimentation process. I think this is a really positive story.
In the final session of the day, we looked at reframing perspectives. What are the new visions for the future and what tools will we need to get there? We heard from the Venezuelan innovation expert and historian Carlota Perez, as well as Andrew Morley, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation's CEO, Matthew Taylor, CEO of the RSA, and we heard from Zaid Hassan. He's the CEO of Roller Strategies and author of Social Labs. He spoke about systems thinking, why most planning fails, and how if we want to create systems level change, we need to get comfortable with experimentation.
And the way to think about a paradigm is it's a little bit like the ocean that a fish kind of swims in. typically it's invisible. So when you talk, this whole thing about telling a fish about water, well, fish doesn't really know what water is. But the thing about water is that in the oceans is that it does determine what a fish can do and not do. So the temperature of the water, the salinity of the water, all of these things determine what's kind of possible. So paradigms determine really what's possible. So if we think about a linear economy, that determines really what's possible. Trying to transition to a circular economy, that changes things. Things become possible.
So if you're in the room here at the Roundhouse, or whether you tuned in joining me on A View from the Summit, I hope you enjoyed this year's event. Keep an eye out over the next weeks and months on Circulate and the Ellen MacArthur Foundation website as more videos from the day are released. Your best bet is to follow @Circulate News or @Circular Economy on Twitter.